Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome to the special edition of Front and Center from Radyo Pilipinas World Service with your host, Jerome Toledo. We will have a look back of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s annual address to the nation, how his statements on certain points affects the lives of the Filipinos here in the Philippines and working abroad. All of these and more will be Front and Center. Join me in the program as we are heard on the following shortwave frequencies: 12.010 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. You can also watch this program on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Radyo Pilipinas World Service. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. delivered his annual State of the Nation address on July 22. He reported achievements and the milestones of the administration in a quest to make the lives of more than 100 million Filipinos better under his watch. President Marcos Jr. started his address by addressing the high prices of rice, saying he recognizes the Filipino public's struggles and hardships. He acknowledged that certain factors drive prices higher. The chief executive emphasized the significance of speeding up local production of food. He said that the government will do everything to support the agriculture sector.
The hard lesson of this last year has made it very clear that whatever current data proudly bannering our country as among the best performing in Asia means nothing to a Filipino who is confronted by the price of rice at 45 to 65 pesos per kilo. Bagamat maganda ang mga statistikang ito, wala itong kabuluhan sa ating kababayan na hinaharap ang realidad na mataas ang presyo ng mga bilihin, lalo na ang pagkain, lalo't higit ng bigas. Totoo, puwersa ng merkado sa ating bansa at maging sa buong daigdig ang siyang nagdidikta ng presyo. Bunso dito, halimbawa, ng giyera, problema sa supply, at puwersa ng kalikasan tulad ng El Nino na naranasan din sa ibang bansa. Subalit, hindi na ito mahalagang alalahanin ng ating mga kababayang nabibigatan sa presyo ng bigas. Mahal kong mga kababayan, alam kong damang-dama ninyo ito. Hindi natin winawalang bahala ang inyong mga hinain at hirap na dinaranas. Sa kabila ng mga hamon ng ating kinakaharap, nasaksihan natin ang pinakamataas na ani ng palay sa bansa nitong nakalipas na taon. Pumalo ito sa lagpas 20 milyong tonelada, ang pinakamataas na ani mula noong 1987. Gayunpaman, ang ani na ito ay katumbas lamang ng 13 milyong tonelada ng bigas. Kulang pa rin ito para sa ating pangangailangan na 16 na milyong tonelada ng bigas, kung kaya't napipilitan tayong mag-angkat. Ngunit, lokal na produksyon pa rin ang ating mas bibigyan ng halaga. Kaya patuloy nating sinusuportahan ang sektor ng agrikultura upang mapabilis, mapadali at mapalakas ang produksyon mula sa pagpunla, pag-ani at paghuli hanggang sa pagbiyahe at pagbenta upang maiwasan din ang pagkasira ng mga produkto.
In terms of infrastructure projects of the Marcos Jr. administration, the President talked about the progress in the government's infrastructure program, starting off with transportation infrastructure programs. The chief executive said that once these projects in railways, airports, and seaports are completed, it will cater more passengers and will facilitate the transport of goods from one point to another.
As of May this year, 12,000 kilometers worth of roads and more than 1,200 bridges have been built, and upgraded across the country. Of note, we have provided a budget to upgrade 367 bridges and almost 1,600 kilometers of road along our country's longest thoroughfare, the Maharlika Highway from Luzon all the way to Mindanao. Moreover, significant segments of major expressways which are part of the Luzon Spine Expressway network have now been opened to the public. The SLEX connector and the Plaridel bypass will be fully completed by the end of this year. Calax and the C5 South Link will be fully operational by next year. Dahil sa mga mahalagang daan na ito, ang norte, gitnang Luzon, Maynila at katimugang Luzon ay lalo pa ngayon magiging mas konektado sa isa't isa. Under our Inter-Island Linkage Bridge Program, we expect two major bridges to be open to motorists this year. One is the Panguil Bay Bridge, touted as the longest water-spanning bridge in northern Mindanao. This bridge will connect Lanao del Norte to Misamis Occidental. The other is the Gicam Bridge in Zamboanga, Sibugay, which shall connect the Olutanga the island to the mainland of Mindanao. In addition, travel to and from Clark Airport is now much faster and more convenient, with the inauguration of the 20-kilometer airport New Clark City Access Road in Pampanga. We are also in the midst of a railway renaissance. The Metro Manila Subway Project has logged significant accomplishments in its tunneling works. Sa puntong ito, katumbas na ng 3 hanggang 6 na palapag ang lalim na nahukay at tuloy-tuloy na umuusad sa susunod na istasyon. Other railway projects such as the MRT-7 and the North-South Commuter Railway are likewise progressing. We will make sure that the right-of-way issues are resolved in the most equitable, efficient, and expeditious manner so that these will not get in the way of our infrastructure development. Bilang bahagi ng LRT-1 Cavite Extension Project, ang ruta ng LRT Line 1 sa Metro Manila ay madadagdagan mula sa Baclaran hanggang Sucat. Bubuksan ito sa publiko sa loob ng taong ito. At sa ilang taon, aabot na ang linya na ito hanggang Bacoor. Nagdagdag din tayo ng 76 na bago at modernong mga tren sa LRT-1 upang mas dumami, bumilis at maging mas komportable ang biyahe ng mga pasahero. Kamakailan lamang, binuksan naman natin muli sa publiko ang PNR Bicol Line na may habang 100 kilometro mula Naga hanggang sa Legazpi. Gayon din, patuloy ang pagpaganda ng ating mga paliparan at ang ating mga daungan para sa ikaginahawa ng ating mga manlalakbay. Unang-una na rito ang paliparan ng Maynila. Sa pangangasiwa ng pribadong sektor, inaasahang gaganda ang itsura at serbisyo nito sa mga susunod na taon. Soon, it will be capable of accommodating 48 flights per hour, servicing our ever-increasing local and international flight routes, and catering to more than 62 million passengers every year. More than 70 airports and seaport development projects across the country have now been completed, and another 350 ongoing projects are set to be completed by the year 2028. Notably, the capacities of the passenger terminal buildings of the General Santos Airport and the Bicol International Airport have been expanded by 300 and 500%, now catering to 2,000 and 1,600 passengers respectively. Meanwhile, the Batangas Port PTB, our popular marine gateway to Mimaropa, the Visayas, and to Mindanao, can now accommodate 8,000 travelers at any given time.
Health is wealth, as the saying goes. And to cater more Filipinos to have an access to healthcare, the government has inaugurated more hospitals and specialty centers in the country. In commitment to bring the healthcare closer to the communities and to decongest public hospitals, the government has opened more than 20 localized urgent healthcare facilities or the BUCAS centers nationwide, bringing urgent care to the poor and the disadvantaged. To top it all, the Marcos administration launched mobile clinics to bring and provide mobile laboratory tests to the local community.
Together with the Philippine Cancer Center of the DOH, which broke ground last March, these two specialty hospitals will soon join our nation's fight against cancer. These centers will be a godsend to the more than 400,000 Filipinos who are afflicted with this deadly disease. Habang ang mga modernong ospital na ito ay ginagawa pa, patuloy tayo sa pagdadagdag at pagpapataas ng kalidad ng ating mga ospital at mga specialty center. Binuksan na natin sa publiko ang mahigit 20 bagong urgent care and ambulatory service o mga BUCAS centers sa iba't ibang lugar sa bansa. Intended to decongest public hospitals, these centers shall provide competent ambulatory care, most especially to the poor and to the disadvantaged, for health conditions that do not require hospital admission. Katuwang din natin ang lokal na pamahalaan sa mga tinatayo natin mga tawag na super health centers. Sa tulong ng mga LGU, malalagyan natin ng sapat na mga doktor at nurse ang mga ito at madadagdagan pa natin sa mga susunod na taon. Layunin natin na sa lalong madaling panahon, lahat ng lalawigan natin ay may sapat na mga center o pasilidad na may kakayahang makapagbigay ng pangunahing serbisyong medikal para sa ating mga mamamayan. Samantala, titiyakin natin na ang bawat isang probinsya ay mabibigyan ng mobile clinic upang ang laboratory exam at ilang pang pangunahing serbisyo medikal ay mapapalapit natin sa ating mga kababayan.
Meanwhile, President Marcos Jr. vowed to fully comply and honor the peace agreements it has with different fronts.
We have come a long way in our quest for a lasting and inclusive peace. No guerrilla fronts remain active across our country today. Only 7 weakened groups remain to be dismantled, and they are the subject of focused operations. But along with the assertion of government might, we also offer peace, community development, and reintegration programs for those who have returned to the fold of the law. Through a comprehensive and transformative approach, we have rebuilt not only lives, but also conflict-affected communities. The implementation of peace agreements is now in its concluding phase. Former combatants now live peaceful and productive lives in their respective communities. Some of our former rebels are now absorbed into the AFP, serving in the defense of the Republic, while others are now part of the PNP BARM. Government will honor and fully comply with its remaining deliverables and commitments under these agreements. In November last year, we signed proclamations granting amnesty to former rebels. A month later, and then in June of this year, the House of Representatives and the Senate issued their respective resolutions concurring with these amnesty proclamations. That Congress is one with us is a testament to the whole nation's sincere desire for peace.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. hailed the overseas Filipino workers for their significant contributions to the country's improving economy. The president appreciates the sacrifice of OFWs. Meanwhile, Marcos Jr. has said that repatriation service has been extended to our migrant workers in war-torn countries. Also, he expressed gratitude to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia as the distribution of checks intended to pay displaced workers affected by the closure of Saudi companies in 2015 and 2016 continues.
Sa ating mga OFW, Ayon sa datos ng Bangko Sentral, mahigit 37 bilyong dolyar ang naipasok sa bansa ng ating mga OFW noong nakalipas na taon. Sadyang napakalaking tulong nito sa ating bumabangon na ekonomiya. Kaya hindi lamang pasasalamat, kundi parangal ang ating ipinapaabot sa lahat ng ating mga OFW. Sana ay napapanood nila ito. Ramdam na ramdam hanggang dito sa ating bansa ang inyong sakripisyo. Through vital partnerships with like-minded states, we have been able to promote our mutual interests, resulting not only in investments here and our strengthened national security, but also in quality jobs for our nationals seeking foreign employment. Through intense Philippine lobbying, the United Nations has adopted the resolution on promoting and protecting the enjoyment of human rights of seafarers. This will ensure their safe and decent living and working conditions at sea, a human rights imperative. Patuloy ang ating pagtulong sa mga OFW. Hindi ito natatapos sa kanilang paglisan sa bansa. Karagdagang mga espesyal na pasilidad at serbisyo ang ating binuksan para sa kanila, tulad ng OFW Lounge sa NAIA at Seafarers Hub sa Maynila. Ang mga OFW natin na naapektuhan ng sari-saring mga kaguluhan tulad sa Israel, sa Gaza, sa Sudan, Lebanon at Yemen ay natulungan natin at naiuwi ng ligtas sa bansa. Gayon din ang naging pagtulong natin sa mga kababayan nating nasalanta ng kalamidad at krisis tulad sa Taiwan at sa New Zealand. Hanggang sa kanilang pag-uwi, buong puso ang ating pagtanggap at paglingap. Ang nagbabalik-bayang mga OFW kasama ng kanilang pamilya ay sinusuportahan nating mabuti upang maging maayos ang kanilang bagong simula dito sa bansa para makakuha ng magandang trabaho o di kaya'y makapagtayo ng negosyo. Kaugnay sa aking naiulat noong isang taon, sinimulan na ng Saudi Arabia ang pamimigay ng tseke sa ating mga trabahanteng nawalan ng trabaho doon. Unti-unti, ang ating mga naapektuhang OFW ay nababayaran na. For this, we convey our sincerest gratitude to the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Finally, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said the Philippines cannot yield and waver in defending the West Philippine Sea. He thanked the armed forces, Coast Guard, and the fishermen for its sacrifices in defending our sovereign territory.
The Philippines cannot yield. The Philippines cannot waver. We are now more conscious as a people and strategic in heightening our aerial and maritime domain awareness. We are continuing to strengthen our defensive posture, both through developing self-reliance and through partnerships with like-minded states. Ang West Philippine Sea ay hindi kathang-isip natin lamang. Ito ay atin. Ito ay At ito ay mananatiling atin hanggat nag-aalab ang diwa ng ating minamahal na bansang Pilipinas. Pagtitibayin at palalaguin natin ang kamalayan at kaalaman ng buong bansa at titiyakin na maipapasa natin ito sa kabataan at ating susunod na mga salinlahi. Laws on our maritime zones and archipelagic sea lanes make sure that this intergenerational mandate, this duty, will firmly take root in the hearts and minds of all our people. Sa buong sandatang lakas, sa Coast Guard, sa ating mga mangingisda sa West Philippine Sea. Tagapin po ninyo ang taus-pusong pasasalamat ng buong bansa dahil sa inyong ginagawang pagmamatyag at sakripisyo.
You've just heard the highlights of the third State of the Nation address of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. That concludes this special edition of Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Together with our producer Erwin Peñano and technical personnel Milo Janela, this is your host Jerome Toledo. Mabuhay and love the Philippines.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.